A place unlike any other. Deep in the United States, far away from busy cities and crowded streets, there's a place that very few people truly understand. It is quiet, it is isolated, and it is one of the most secure prisons ever built. This place is called ADX Florence. Many people also know it by another name, the Alcatraz of the Rockies. But this is not just another prison. It is something very different. To understand ADX Florence, you have to imagine a place built with one goal in mind: total control. Everything here is designed to prevent problems before they even begin. The location itself is part of the plan. The prison sits in a remote area of Colorado, surrounded by open land and mountains. There are no busy roads nearby, no large neighborhoods, no easy access. This distance makes it harder for anyone on the outside to even get close. And even if they could, getting inside would be nearly impossible. ADX Florence was opened in 1994. It was created for a very specific reason. At the time, there were inmates in the prison system who were considered too dangerous for regular facilities. Some had caused serious problems inside other prisons. Others were involved in organized crime or major criminal cases. Authorities needed a place where these individuals could be held safely, a place where risk could be controlled at the highest level. And so, ADX Florence was built. From the outside, the prison looked simple. Concrete buildings, flat surfaces, neutral colors. Nothing flashy, nothing unusual at first glance. But looks can be deceiving, because inside those walls, everything changes. Security here is not just strong, it is extreme. The entire facility is designed with layers of protection. There are tall concrete walls surrounding the prison, multiple fences, advanced surveillance systems. Cameras watch every angle. Sensors detect movement. Guards are always present, always watching, always alert. Even the design of the building plays a role in security. Every door is controlled electronically. Every movement is monitored. Every detail has been carefully planned. Nothing is random. Nothing is left to chance. But what really makes ADX Florence different is not just the outside security. It is what happens inside. This is not a place where inmates walk freely. There are no large groups moving around together. No busy hallways filled with noise. Instead, there is silence. There is separation. And there is control. Most inmates here spend nearly all their time alone, inside small, secure cells. Day after day, week after week, year after year, the cells themselves are simple. Each one is made of solid concrete, strong, heavy, unbreakable. Inside, there's only what is necessary: a bed, a small desk, a toilet, a sink, and a narrow window. The window is designed in a very specific way. It allows light to enter, but it does not give a clear view of the outside world. Inmates cannot see the horizon. They cannot see the streets. They cannot see freedom. Meals are delivered through a small slot in the door. There is no dining hall, no shared meals. Each person eats alone. This level of isolation is not accidental. It is part of the design, a system created to reduce risk, to limit interaction, and to maintain complete control. For many people, it is difficult to imagine living this way, with so little contact, so little movement, so little change. But inside ADX Florence, this is daily life, and it raises an important question. What kind of individuals are sent to a place like this? Who are the inmates that require this level of control? What did they do to end up here? These are the questions that have made ADX Florence one of the most talked about prisons in the world, not just because of its security, but because of the people inside it. Over the years, this facility has held individuals connected to major criminal cases. Some were involved in organized crime groups. Others were considered a serious risk within the prison system itself. In some cases, individuals linked to groups like the Aryan Brotherhood have been placed here due to security concerns. But inside ADX Florence, titles and reputations do not matter. Every inmate is treated under the same strict rules, the same controlled environment, the same limited freedom. This is what makes this place different. It is not about who you were on the outside. It is about how you are managed on the inside. And inside ADX Florence, everything is controlled. Time moves slowly here. Days feel the same. There are no sudden changes, no surprises, just a routine that repeats again and again. For the outside world, ADX Florence is a mystery, a place hidden behind walls and silence, a place few people will ever see for themselves. But in this series, we will take a closer look. We will explore what life is really like inside. We will understand the system, and we will learn about the individuals who have been held there. Because ADX Florence is not just a prison. It is a world of its own. Inside ADX Florence, life follows a very strict pattern. Every day is almost exactly the same. There are no surprises, no sudden changes, just a routine that repeats again and again. For most inmates, the day begins early. There is no alarm clock, no loud announcements, just a quiet start of another day inside a concrete cell. The cell is small, simple, and built for control. Each cell is made almost entirely of solid concrete. The walls are thick, the floor is hard, the door is heavy and made of metal. There are no bars like in older prisons. Instead, there is a solid door with a small slot. This slot is used to pass food and other items. Inside the cell, everything is fixed in place. The bed is made of concrete. The desk is attached to the wall. The sink and toilet are made of stainless steel. Nothing can be moved. Nothing can be easily broken. There is also a narrow window, but this window does not give a clear view of the outside. It is placed at an angle, so instead of seeing the world, inmates mostly see the sky, or just light. This design is intentional. It limits awareness of the outside world and helps maintain focus on the inside environment. Inmates spend about 23 hours a day in this space. Alone, there is no sharing of cells, no roommates, no conversations through open bars, just silence. Meals are delivered directly to the cell, 3 times a day. Breakfast, lunch, and dinner. Food is passed through the small slot in the door. The inmate takes the tray, eats alone, and then returns it. There is no dining hall, no sitting with others, no social interaction during meals. After eating, the time continues slowly. Some inmates choose to read. Books are one of the few forms of activity allowed. Others may write, think, or simply sit in silence. There is very little to do, very little to see, and very little to hear. For 1 hour each day, some inmates are allowed out of their cells. But even this is different from what most people imagine. This is not a walk in an open yard. It is a small, enclosed space, surrounded by high walls, sometimes described as a concrete box. The inmate is taken there alone. No other inmates are present. No interaction is allowed. This time is meant for basic movement, stretching, walking, breathing fresh air. After that hour is over, the inmate is returned to the cell, and the cycle continues. Every movement is controlled. When an inmate leaves the cell, they are escorted by guards. Carefully, step by step, there are strict procedures. Hands may be restrained. Doors are opened and closed with precision. Nothing is rushed. Nothing is left uncontrolled. Even communication is limited. Inmates cannot freely talk to each other. There are no shared spaces where conversations can happen. Contact with the outside world is also restricted. Phone calls are rare, and when they happen, they are monitored. Visits are allowed in some cases, but they are very controlled. There is no physical contact. Visitors and inmates are separated by glass. Conversations take place through a phone. Everything is designed to reduce risk, to prevent conflict, and to maintain order. But this level of isolation can be difficult. Spending long periods alone can affect how a person feels. The silence can become heavy. The routine can feel endless. Days begin to blend together. One day feels like the next. Time moves slowly. For some inmates, this environment becomes a major challenge. Not physically, but mentally. Without regular human interaction, even small things can feel different. Sounds, thoughts, memories. This is why ADX Florence is often discussed in conversations about isolation, because it represents one of the most controlled environments in the prison system. But from the perspective of the system, this control serves a purpose. It reduces the chance of conflict. It limits communication between high-risk individuals, and it keeps both staff and inmates safer. Inside this facility, safety is a priority, even if it comes at the cost of comfort. There are no distractions here, no crowds, no noise, just a quiet, controlled environment. And for those living inside it, this is everyday life. A routine of silence, a routine of isolation, a routine that rarely changes. But this leads to another important question. If life inside the cells is this controlled, what kind of individuals require this level of security? And how do they end up here? Inside ADX Florence. Not everyone can be sent there. This is not a regular prison. It is a place reserved for a very specific group of inmates. So, who exactly ends up here? In simple terms, ADX Florence holds individuals who are considered too high risk for other prisons. These are people who, for different reasons, cannot be managed safely in normal facilities. Some of them were involved in serious organized crime. Others were part of groups that operated inside prisons. And some created major security problems while already serving time. In many cases, these individuals had a history of breaking rules inside other prisons. Some had tried to communicate secretly. Others had been involved in conflicts. And in some situations, their presence alone created tension among other inmates. Because of this, authorities made a decision. They needed a place where these individuals could be separated, a place where their ability to interact, organize, or influence others would be extremely limited. That place became ADX Florence. It is important to understand something here. Being sent to ADX is not just about what someone did in the past. It is also about how they behave inside the prison system. An inmate may already be serving a long sentence, but if they continue to create serious problems inside prison, they may be transferred to ADX. This means ADX is not just a prison. It is also a control system. Over the years, the facility has held individuals connected to well-known criminal cases. Some of these cases received national attention. Others were known mainly within law enforcement. There have also been inmates linked to organized groups, including prison gangs such as the Aryan Brotherhood. These groups were known for operating both inside and outside prison systems. Because of the risks involved, certain members were placed in ADX Florence. But once inside this facility, things change. The structure of ADX makes it very difficult for inmates to communicate with each other. There are no shared spaces, no group activities, no easy way to pass messages. This limits the influence that individuals may have had before. In other prisons, some inmates may have built reputations. They may have had connections or influence over others. But inside ADX Florence, those factors are reduced. Hey, everyone follows the same rules. Everyone lives under the same restrictions. The system is designed to treat all inmates equally in terms of control. No special privileges. No special access. This creates an environment where outside status matters less. And the focus shifts to containment and safety. Some inmates may spend many years in this facility. Others may eventually be transferred out if their behavior improves over time. But that process is not quick, and it is not easy. Inmates are constantly evaluated. Their behavior is monitored. Their actions are reviewed. If they show long-term stability and follow strict rules, there's a chance they may move to a less restrictive environment. But for many, ADX becomes a long-term reality, and that reality is shaped by isolation, routine, and control. It is also important to note that not all inmates at ADX are the same. They come from different backgrounds, different cases, different life stories. Some were involved in organized crime. Others were part of major investigations. And some were transferred because of their behavior inside prison. But despite these differences, they all share one thing in common. They are considered high risk within the system. That is why they are here. Inside ADX Florence, the goal is not to tell their stories in detail. It is not to focus on their past. The goal is to manage the present, to reduce risk, and to maintain order. This is what defines a facility. But understanding who the inmates are is only part of the picture. Because the next question is just as important. How does a place like this maintain such a high level of control every single day?